And we are back. Okay. Well, a week has passed since the introduction to Theodore Royce. And life is proving to be just as busy for the kindred of Gary as to any mortal. This night, as the city is lulled into sleep, a social gathering has been planned for the city of Gary. Theodore Royce has sent invitations out to the city's kindred, inviting them to court at his mansion off Oak Avenue. I will take you all to the correct page. Here we go.
Ooh, new tiles.
Yes. Courtesy to our Miguel for making these great tiles. Let's see. As the social event starts to pick up steam, I assume the three of you, would you be there early or would you come in a little bit later than other people, you think?
Definitely early.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Would not
right.
want to disrespect what might be a city of monsters, right?
Well, you'll be met at the door by a man which you might have seen around the mansion last time, but he was sort of in the background. And that would be Sanjay, and I can show him to you now. And he is standing by the door. He is wearing a very similar suit to that of Victor Gable. And yeah, he gives you a warm welcome as you arrive. If you arrive early, you'll find Theodore Royce will be there, of course. It doesn't really matter how early you get there. Cecilia also seems to be there, along with another man who is right here, which is throughout the night playing various sort of calming pieces on the grand piano, and I will show him to you as well. Other than the three of you and the two kindred who will be there when you arrive in the hall, it doesn't take too long before suddenly a big sort of hooded, almost like a ball of darkness moves into the room and promptly plops down in one of the corners, constantly harassing the staff slightly for, you know, refreshments and that sort of thing. There'll be whispers. And after about an hour and a half has gone by since you arrived, Hoyt will move into the room and will just seat himself next to Whispers, and the two of them seem to be chatting about, well, various different things, really. But unless you get closer, it's hard to tell exactly what. As the night begins, and before the others arrive, Theodore tells you all that someone special will be arriving a little bit later. A guest from Chicago. But other than that, you are of course free to mingle as you please.
Well, first things first. As soon as I arrive, I will greet the prince and thank him for the invitation.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would probably, if it seems appropriate, I would go to Whispers and Hoyt if he's close by, and I would thank them for their efforts and their willingness not to destroy us on the spot as soon as they met us.
That was pretty much what I was gonna do, so we can just do that together.
Okay. So yeah, they will both be sitting sort of on opposite ends of one of these longer. I mean, it's not exactly a couch, but it's like a couch basically without the back of the couch, and it's just like a seating section next to the wall. I don't really know how to describe it in any other way than that. But yeah, they're sitting on sort of opposite ends on one of these seating sections. I'll be sort of, just talking about something mundane as you arrive. Hoyt will basically just look up, just puzzled. Won't really say anything.
Well, assuming the three of us have gone there, I don't know if... Nope. Okay, so
I
just
never
me
said
and...
I'm going there.
Okay. In that case, it's
Honest
just
you.
me and Catherine. We approach, and Isaac will give a slight bow and say, "Good evening. I would like to thank you for your efforts the other night, especially for sparing our existence."
Yeah, that's not really up to me, is it? How's the princess doing? White just sort of looks you up and down and goes, maybe that'll be worth it. Who knows? And Whispers just looks up and goes, I guess you're not shovels then, huh?
Doesn't seem so.
We are fully committed to assisting this domain in any way we can.
Both of them look at each other and then just, well, you don't really know what Whispers is doing, as just sort of off to the side, but you see Hoyt sort of smiles and he just goes, we appreciate it.
Is it like a sarcastic we appreciate it, or...
to perception empathy.
I most certainly will. Let's see what... Perception, empathy, okay. Oh, my dice pulls are great. That's at least one.
Oh yeah, it's quite clear that it's sarcastic, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I will not comment on that. I'm not gonna pick a fight first night in Elysium and get myself killed.
Yeah, Isaac simply gives a slight bow again, and if nothing else is said, he will turn and move away.
Well, Whispers will just sort of look over to you as you finish up with the other part in the conversation, and will just go, I heard there was a fourth in the was it truck, right? Truck, not trailer, right?
Yes, there was.
Okay.
Have you been? Are you aware of the circumstances?
Heard there might be one of, well, not exactly like me, I suppose, but similar. I've been looking into it. Nothing really that I could find as of yet.
I see. Well, um, I our existence is recent and new enough
Yeah.
that I'm not exactly sure if he would be one of yours, but um, he had these.
Well, that's what the prince said.
Well, in that case, I will trust his judgment. He did have these. Um, this look about him of someone who had been human at one point but wasn't anymore. So if that is a trademark of your people, then it might be the case.
Sounds a bit, what's the word? Just starts snapping, and Hut goes, I don't know, what do you mean? She just goes, esoteric, I think. Was a human, but now is not. It's, if it's, what, misshapen, then probably. That's what you mean.
Well, meant no offense by it, but yes, he was
Nor did I
somewhat
take it
misshapen.
as that, but. No, that's fine. That's fine. Well, I will be looking into it more as time goes on. And
Very
then
well.
she just starts snapping her fingers as she has apparently emptied her big sort of glass of well, most probably blood, and um, yeah. At this point, then Victor Gable comes walking over, and she just goes, "Yeah, I gotta need a refill." And he just nods and leaves the room and gets a refill.
Well, I won't waste your evening any further, unless you have any questions.
Nah, I'm good.
Well, Isaac nods and turns away.
Mm-hmm.
Did just because you didn't note it in the downtime, did the prince expressly tell me Hoyt is the sheriff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, she's also just gonna nod. Till we speak again, Miss Whispers. Sheriff nods and leaves. Where's Julianne?
Well, Julian um, decided. Well, she scanned the room for a bit more because the last time they were here, she didn't really have time just to look around and really take it all in. And then after that, she went over to the lady who was here
Mm-hmm.
last time as well, but they didn't really get to talk to her. So she just goes over and goes, "Oh, good evening. Um,
Evening.
I don't believe we've been introduced."
Cecilia Ledoux. And she just says, and she just gives a sort of a curtsy. And she's wearing a sort of a. It's a cocktail dress of sorts, but it's a bit puffy. So it's like
Mhm.
it looks a bit archaic, but I mean she makes it work. Um, and she just says, "Hmm, second time here now, is it? Or have you been here since last time?"
Uh, no, this is only my second time. I didn't have any reason to be here. I well, I'm just going to ask. So you're like one of us too?
Oh yes.
Okay. Do you come here often with the prince?
Well, I do have a position that requires me to be here every once in a while, so yes.
Okay. I mean, I don't really know about that
Hmm.
those things as much. I mean, I know he's the prince, and that bearded guy. I don't really remember his name, but he's some sort of security person.
And she almost like halfway like spits out. She just goes, "Yeah, Hoyt."
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Hoyt. Okay. So what is your thing
Oh,
then?
I help with the. What would the best way of explaining it be? I help ease the potential for social strife, I guess. Make sure everybody just good friends, really.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
And so is everyone good friends here?
And she give me an empathy perception. Is it perception and empathy? Whichever order you prefer.
Uh, oh. How is my empathy? Okay, it's fine.
She responds, "Oh, of course." But you see that for maybe it's like a split second, she's like, before she answers. So it might be a more, I don't know, a rehearsed response than a natural one.
Okay. Julianne just nods. Well, that's good.
Hmm.
I mean, you know, I'm very new to this, and I don't really know what I'm doing. Weird things are happening. As in, I can do weird things, and then everything around me is also quite strange. So I'm still processing, I guess. Um,
How is Julianne dressed, by the way?
Probably t-shirt and jeans.
Yeah,
He hasn't
it's
really gone shopping.
Yeah, so constantly you'd sort of be able to see that Cecilia's eyes are just like going down to the outfit, and she's sort of like puzzled by it, and she doesn't seem very impressed by the way. And it's obvious that she has a bit of like a haughty attitude to her about that. So yeah, so she notices that while she goes on about weird abilities, and she just goes, ah, okay.
Okay then. Great talk. I'm gonna go now. But nice to meet you.
And she just goes, "Oh, such a shame." But she very quickly pivots back to the piano player, to talking back to what she
Yeah.
was going on about. Yeah.
The most polite fuck off already I've ever heard.
As stealing my usual Elysium role, the asocial etiquette 0 character.
So yeah, she just kind of walks off all.
Mm-hmm. At this point, there is a like it's clear that the door is being sort of the handle is being turned to the main room, and in walks. What's the best way to describe?
I suppose we
her?
wouldn't be here anymore, so.
Yeah, let's move over. Bunch up in our little corner.
Oh, yeah.
In walks a woman in like a quite sleek sort of dress, but it's got a high collar on it. It's like crimson, and as she comes walking into the room, it is clear that she is, I wouldn't say stumbling around, but she seems to be very apprehensive about where she's walking. And it's quite clear from the way that she's walking and the way she's looking around that she is blind. And she comes walking into the room, and I will share her with all of you. This is the woman you see coming into the room.
Okay. If no one else approaches the woman,
Well, she approaches
Isaac...
the prince, basically.
Oh, okay.
She just
Okay.
walks into the room, and as soon
Immediately
as
leaping on her.
yeah, and as soon as she like walks into the room, Theodore Royce goes, "Ah, Miss Adamu," and she just immediately she hears the voice, and it's like she immediately walks towards the voice, and she walks up, and the two of them seem to be chatting about something.
Well, Seb, if I have Auspex, now would be the good time to introduce it.
Oh, you wanna use Auspex at court, do you?
Please do.
Nobody's gonna know. How would they know?
Okay. But yeah.
Well, after noticing this, Isaac turns to the other two women and he says, "Oh, this city is well, stranger than I remember. How have you two been this past week?"
Busy.
Fine.
I've noticed that I'm capable of certain things, unnatural things. I'm not entirely sure if you have experienced this as well.
Well,
I
yeah.
definitely have.
You know how a rat waved at me? Yeah, it didn't happen before.
Well, I've noticed that while I was preaching to my flock, it was odd. I felt like they were listening to me a lot more attentively than they usually do. And I could hear certain things about them. It's odd, and I'm sure I'll be able to explain it better with time, but I've noticed that I can figure out certain things about people that I shouldn't just know.
Like,
Like, I know it sounds weird, but
This is all weird, so
well, I can hear the things people feel the most guilty of. They're
There is a subtle twitch of the eyelid.
okay. So can you like switch it on and off?
I figured out that it does happen with when I pay attention to someone in a certain way. I've also found that when I speak, if I try to put some emotion into what I'm saying, people tend to pay attention to me a lot more than they would otherwise.
Hmm.
And I do feel different than I did before when that happens. It's
Different how?
how to explain it. You know when you ride a bicycle and you instinctively know how to move to keep yourself balanced. It's
Right.
sort of like that.
Hmm.
But in a social context, I just know how to tone my voice, how to speak to have people listen to me. And it's odd. I believe this is one of the abilities they spoke of when they invited us here.
There's something else I noticed last time we were here. Did you look into a mirror recently?
No, I didn't quite have time. I checked for certain things. I wanted to make sure certain. I'll just be completely honest. I wanted to make sure none of the uh, records I have tattooed on my skin were damaged in all of this. And, well, none of it was, but I didn't quite have time to look at a mirror.
A question out of character: is the floor still shiny?
It hasn't. It's not less shiny than it was before.
I mean, reflective. Like, does it
Yes.
still clearly reflect?
Well,
Okay.
it doesn't. It didn't very clearly reflect it before either. But if you try to look for a reflection, you can see one. But it's not like it's obvious. It's not super reflective. It's not like very polished.
In that case, it's just like did the prince? How much did the prince tell me about the La Sombra?
He'd probably tell you the basics of them being able to manipulate shadows and darkness and that sort of thing. He'd probably tell you that, and he'd probably tell you that they are considered the at least one of the more sort of influential clans within the Sabbat. That he would definitely tell you. I don't know if would he know the weakness of the La Sombra, the clan weakness. He probably does. So yeah, if he
I mean, it depends how old he is. Sounds pretty fucking old. So
how informed he is.
Yeah, it's probably more with him from how many La Sombra he's bumped into.
Okay.
But yeah, you'd probably know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bring it up now. I'm gonna save it for after court.
Yeah.
But yes, I didn't quite have the chance to look at a mirror.
Well, when we're done here, be sure to do that.
All right. Is something wrong with me?
You don't reflect.
I'm sorry.
You don't
You
cast
don't
a
have a
reflection.
reflection. I saw it too.
The two of us do, but you don't.
That is concerning.
Apparently, well, the prince told me about different lineages. I visited him during the week. Apparently, one of these clans does suffer from that curse.
I see.
Doesn't cast a reflection. It's called La Sombra. And apparently, they are one of the leaders of this group who attacked us, the Sabbat. So, maybe don't. I'd say don't flaunt it around, but this is a small city and people will know. I can't imagine it helps our standing with the sheriff.
Yeah. I suppose I should be careful. Thank you for telling me.
Of course.
If I am one of these La Sombra, well, I suppose I'll have to work extra hard to make myself a place in the city.
I think we'll all have to work extra hard based on what he told me.
If have you discovered what you're capable of apart from, and Isaac gestures at Julianne, communicating with animals?
I guess. I don't really know. Honestly, I haven't been testing it. I just. I don't know. She looks quite uncomfortable with the whole thing.
Yeah, me too. The only thing I noticed is when we were making our escape from the trailer. Well, I was able to move faster than I normally do, and my perception of time was almost twisting along with it. I don't know how to explain it.
I did feel that you were running fast, but I merely thought it was good athleticism.
Yeah.
You sure this is?
I'm not as young as I used to be.
Did you manage to get better from the well, your hand?
She just sort of raises her right arm, slightly waves it, but you can see it's gloved, so as to cover the mark of which is on the palm now, right?
Yes. Sort of stretches from the wrist up to the base of the fingers.
Yeah.
I think it may take a bit of time.
Yes, I've also noticed something. Quite scary, but since it hasn't bothered me much, Isaac will kind of just move his scarf up, and he'll pull his shirt a bit to the side. And first of all, you spot a lot of tattoos. Like as soon as it gets to his collarbone, he is covered in tattoos. But among those tattoos is a bullet hole, and he just gestures to it. I expected it to close eventually, but it hasn't.
Is that one from the bridge?
Yeah, it hurts a little, but it doesn't bother me nearly as much as it should, and it hasn't. Well, it isn't healing on its own.
So, that's concerning. But Your tattoos. Did you call them records?
Yes, it's a complicated matter. I'm sure I can explain at a later date when both of you are ready.
All right.
Ready?
No, it's not an easy message to hear.
Right. In her, she's just thinking this is more religious mumbo jumbo.
You're not wrong.
Oh,
I don't know. I have I'm used to bad news.
well,
Well,
some good news, so to speak, is I checked that number. I found the company the trailer was associated with. It's not exactly a small operation.
So what
how
did
so?
they do?
Well, it's this. It's called Chiron Transit. It's like this large shipping consortium. They have locations all over the world. I know Holland, US, Egypt, Cape Town. They're all over the place, and yeah, if whoever did this to us has controls something this big, or at the very least can influence something this big, I don't know. Just she seems very like lost in thought. Like this is all a lot to take in. Also,
see.
it does align with what my okay, again out of character, what the prince have told me about the whole sire-child concept.
Mm, not unless she asked, like how vampires are made, I
Well,
suppose.
she probably would, because we were talking about bloodlines and everything.
Yeah, well then probably. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just gonna grab this opportunity to say that as Catherine is talking, Julianne just seemed to kind of be rattled for a second, looking at Isaac, and slowly steps back closer to Catherine.
Poor cult leader. But yeah, she
You
continues.
will join my flock.
No, I will make a Vurst out of your flock. Anyway, she continues. It does align with my sire. Sire, it's a prince told me. That's basically the kindred who creates you. That's your sire, right? My sire, and she seems to like really struggle to get that word out, also did a lot to sabotage my company's operations. He seemed to be very well connected. So, if he is involved in this, and he most likely is, then it's perfectly feasible that he would have ties to companies as large and powerful as this.
Is it possible our what you call it, sires? Would it be possible that they know our location?
I don't know. The trailer was dispatched from the Chicago docks. I assume that's where they loaded us in, but no delivery location was listed.
I asked because I had to visit the cemetery to say goodbye.
Bye to
Regardless, um, I spotted someone watching me. I couldn't make out who it was, but someone was watching me. Could it be this sire of mine?
I don't know. It's possible. They seem like people who would be capable of finding us, and I don't think we exactly dropped off the radar completely. I haven't noticed anyone following me, but yeah, I don't know.
We should be careful,
So,
all of us.
you mentioned something about the person who came to you, Isaac. That parts of him were glowing.
Yes, he seemed to have this green glow under his skin, like his blood was fluorescent. It was odd. I found it odd at the time. I don't know why I didn't. I don't know why I didn't offer help or react. But I suppose well, he didn't seem hostile or hurt. But he did have this green glow under his skin.
Green.
Just an out of character note. Not really green glow under the skin. Just light, basically, under the skin.
Oh, so not specifically green.
No.
Okay. Apologies. Just the image only had green.
You ruined the game.
No, it
The
doesn't
image
really,
I was
but
shown only had green.
it's fine.
Okay,
Yes,
he had light
red
under
con.
his skin.
Redcon. He just said light.
Well, if he wants to be accurate, then he would say light.
Yes.
Well, the prince didn't mention anything like that when we were talking about lineages before, so I don't know, could be some obscure one, or it could be just something specific to your sire.
Maybe. I would prefer if this remained confidential. If I am of a clan that is often the enemy of this group, I'd much prefer if that was, well, not as public knowledge as.
I mean, they'll find out. Sooner
Yes.
or later, someone's gonna look into a reflective surface and notice you're not there. So I just mean, don't flaunt it around, you know.
Yeah. So you spoke with this prince, correct?
Yes.
What else did you speak of?
Just the state of the domain, the politics of it, the clans. Told me about Hoyt being the sheriff. He's sort of the, well, it's self-explanatory. He's like the policeman, enforcing the traditions. The traditions that there's 6 of them. So okay, here we go. Exposition dump. Okay, so traditions. So it's these laws. The Camarilla. That's us. The Camarilla. Follows the first one as the Masquerade, keeping our existence hidden from humans, or kine, as he called them. Second one, domain, is that Prince claims domain over a city. His word is law. Third one, progeny. He only the prince can allow one of us to create a child or to be a sire. Fourth, accounting. So when a sire creates a child, they are fully under the sire's accounting, so everything you do reflects on your sire until they choose to release you and you're considered an independent member of the Camarilla. Then there's hospitality, which is basically the prince's ability to allow other kindred to stay in his domain or basically force them to leave. And destruction, which allows the prince to decide which kindred get to live and which are required to die after one of the traditions is broken.
I see. You mentioned that we are not allowed to become a sire without the permission of the prince.
Yeah.
How does one sire?
Now that's something. Would he have explained that to me?
No.
Yeah,
He
that's.
probably
that's...
wouldn't even tell you if you explicitly asked, because he's
Yeah.
not giving you permission to do so, so
Yeah.
you might as well not tell
I'm
him.
not telling them how to do this.
It wouldn't be through biting, would it?
I don't know. He didn't share, and personally, I don't remember what happened. The last thing I remember is my sire breaking my arm. I don't know about you two.
I don't remember anything. He was speaking to me, and next thing I know, I'm in the trailer. God, if it is through biting,
I don't think it is. If it was just bite, kindred would be everywhere, right? You really wouldn't want to be a sheriff. Imagine the chaos. Did you bite anyone?
a few.
A few.
Yeah. Hence why I'm nervous. I should probably clarify how one sires.
Whispers told us to, bite people, just not drain them. So I think you're good.
Yeah, I still haven't done it. I just got some more blood bags from the prince.
I've done it.
Yeah. Beating me to it, huh?
It's
You're hungry, you eat.
yeah. It's best if you get it done, especially with people who are well, not willing, but trustworthy.
Right.
Trustworthy.
You didn't tell anyone?
No.
Okay. Because, yeah, Masquerade and all that.
Yeah, I was mindful of that.
Are you eating your flock?
That's a long pause.
I wouldn't call it that, but
What, eating
they
our
keep
flock?
me. They keep me from. They keep me from being more of a beast than I wish to be.
You're ridiculous.
Frenzy check. Okay, there's no need for harsh words.
Well, what
We're
sort
all-
of creature is he then?
Julianne?
Feeding from his own? That's
Julianne?
no Christian way to be.
Julianne?
Well, now it is a frenzy check.
Oh yeah, because this gets that's getting personal.
Yeah.
Do I actually do a check?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. Yeah, now it is.
Okay.
No,
Get him
definitely.
Self-control?
killed, yeah. Third session,
Self-control?
kill him. Self-control's done.
Self-control. Yeah, you can
Malicious stunts
obviously
are a 4.
you can obviously add willpower if you want, but that's if you don't wanna botch and die.
Yeah, I will use a point of willpower.
Okay.
Goddamn you, sir. Okay, we're fine.
Yeah, you definitely feel. I wouldn't say that you feel necessarily angry, but there's something way more explosive in the back of your mind that you aren't used to being there. But you're in control of it.
Well, Isaac will just look her dead in the eyes and say, "Careful what you say."
Why? The red eyes will get me?
At this point, I'm just like grabbing her by the arm and leading her a bit off to the corner.
As she's being dragged away, Isaac
Not
just
not
says,
dragged. She's just like, I'm
that's
waiting
fine.
for her consent. I'm not just like Bolton's throwing her
Just fucking
into the lamp.
She's kind
grab
of
her hair, just
allowing.
gag her.
She is
Uh.
allowing Catherine to sort of drag her.
Isaac will just pipe up for a second and say, "And for your information, I'm not a Christian."
I'm not surprised.
Jesus Christ! Stop taunting the man.
He's already dead. I mean, he is, but
Yeah. Yeah, if she lets herself be dragged to the corner, just like in a whispery voice, she leans in. Look, we're all trying to figure this out. I don't think this kind of vitriol is helping, okay?
I can see his damnation. Hell, I can see yours too. We're all in hell. So none of this really matters. And she just kind of walks off.
Pinches the bridge of her nose, shakes her head, walks over, back to Isaac.
Yeah, Isaac at this point has turned around. He's basically one hand in his waist, the other one rubbing the back of his head, just, unnecessarily sighing and trying to calm himself down.
Mhm.
Isaac, look, she
I know.
She doesn't
She-
mean it. We're all
I know.
just trying to make sense of this.
She just doesn't know what she does. It's okay.
Forgive them, Lord, something, right?
Yeah.
She seems
there
more
is-
religious. She seems more religious than you are, from what I've seen of her. So
Yeah.
I think
well,
this existence will take a bit more of a adjustment period when she's concerned, but I trust she'll get there.
Yeah. Well, if there is one of the good, like some good things written in that book, forgiveness is one of them. I will need to ask a few questions to the prince if he's willing to divulge some information to me. Meanwhile, you did say these La Sombra?
Mhm.
You did say they are capable of manipulating shadows?
I never said that. Seb brought
Did
it
you
up.
not?
Nope, I didn't mention the shadows.
Oh, okay.
I
Just
said
like
it
I
to
thought you
him,
had.
but he didn't.
Yeah.
Okay. Apologies. So, given that I'm apparently one of these La Sombra, what do you know? What have you been told we can do?
Well, he did tell me they are leaders, so that whole thing about your flock listening to you more intently and whatever, that might be part of it. But
Yeah.
he also mentioned something about them being able to manipulate darkness.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't tried, but
Yeah, don't try now.
well, obviously. But if that is something I can do, it might aid us if I can push back darkness when we search the sewers. I don't know if it works that way, but I might be able to shed some light down in the sewers when we search for this runaway.
Just shrugs. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. There's still a lot to figure out.
Yeah. I'll keep exploring what I can do.
At this point, Julianne, roll me perception awareness.
Awareness. I do like it when that gets brought up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's like 10 wards on the Tremere.
I hope you botch. You antagonizing bitch.
I speak with conviction. How dare you?
Oh, she's already on conviction, huh?
Oh God.
3 nights in, she's on the path of enlightenment
Twist
already.
that knife, Philip. Twist that knife.
Ooh.
God damn it.
We just to check, we did agree on the homebrew rule for specialties, right? 10s are always 2.
That's not just specialties. That's tens are
Yeah,
always
yeah,
two.
just
Yeah,
always 10s, but specialties give you an extra die.
extra die. Yes, that is the homebrew we're running.
Yeah.
That's also probably good for anyone watching to know, so that we are using a slightly modified version of the way the rolling works. But it makes just in general the specialties still help, but they they don't basically make or break a character like they do normally. But yeah, the rest of you mute.
Wow, here we go again.
Yes, sir.
My favorite part of the session's goodbye.
Mm-hmm. As Julianne stands by the wall, she hears these faint sounds. The best way to describe it is the sound that happens when a hammer hits an anvil. Although maybe not with that amount of force, it's clear that the sound, although faint, is that of iron or metal on metal or metal on some other hard surface.
Mm-hmm.
And the faint sound grows slightly louder with some time. You feel the sound coming closer, and an absolute wave of dread accompanies the sound. And after about 5 seconds or so, the sound promptly cuts out, and the feeling goes with it.
Okay.
Oh. Do you want to say anything more about it? Because then they'll have to mute again.
So, how
I
many?
just wanted to ask if I could tell where it was coming from.
Well,
What?
Not really.
What is coming?
The fireballs are
Yes.
coming from the ceiling.
Yes.
Ah, yes,
Yes.
of course. We have a bunch of
Okay.
D&D wizards in the
Ah.
roof.
Yeah, that is what happens on that front.
Okay.
Yeah, if unless any of you are doing anything right at this moment and you're just sort of chatting and standing around,
Standing around.
then about maybe a minute goes by before you all see the or you'll probably hear first your names. being mentioned by the prince in this conversation right here. And after a while, he will, or after a few seconds after that, he will look around and see all of you and sort of beckon you to come closer.
Oh, here we go.
Isaac will nod, look at Catherine, and then
Yeah,
start walking.
going over there.
Julianne hesitates for just a second or two and kind of looks around. Seems a bit dazed and then sort of slowly makes her way there.
As you approach, the prince looks over to the three of you and goes, "May I present the honorable Miss Adamu out of Chicago. She has come here to assist with a something that is important for both me and for you. All three of you."
It is a pleasure to meet you.
Now, I have briefly explained to Catherine here. She visited me during the week about the clan to which Miss Adamu belongs, the Tremere. They serve as, well, scholars, I suppose. We don't really have any here in Gary, so I sent for her. And she just sort of nods along. And she seems, although, I mean, she's clearly engaging in the conversation, she sort of looks a bit away, almost more like she's facing with her ear to the conversation than with her sort of the front of her face. And as she just nods along, and he says, "And I have explained some of the way the what the clan does and so forth." And she smiles a bit and she says, "Only good things, I hope." And he says, "Of course. What else is there to tell?" And he just sort of smiles and moves a bit. Obviously, it being natural to him to sort of gesture in this way, as he knows that she can't see the way he's moving around. You see, Tremere, well, many Tremere at least, have this uncanny ability to be able to, well, with some precision at least, be able to tell the strength of someone's blood, the blood ties to wherever it is that binds us all. And she has offered to do this service for me in return for some assistance with something. We don't need to get into that quite yet. But I do hope that you go with her now into just the side room here, and he will just sort of gesture to a door over there. She will just give you a brief looking over, and we'll be able to tell more about, well, exactly what you are and who we should look for when it comes to, well, whoever made you.
Yes, of course. Catherine has briefly explained of the traditions, and
very
Finding our
important.
sires. Yes. Finding our sires would be most beneficial for everyone, I believe.
I do hope that all of you will learn from Catherine's example and trying to well, get to know how we do things around here. I do very much appreciate that.
Of course.
I'm sorry, I'm just like out there already mitigating my cative penalty.
Bitch, you think you got it bad?
Yes, sir.
Please, Miss, please just go and take the lead, I suppose.
Did he say this speaking to us or
Yeah.
the woman?
No, to you.
All right.
I mean, she can't see where the door is, so.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was.
Yeah.
Who wants to touch the
Um,
Tremere?
I don't know. Isaac will step forward. Would you like some assistance, madam?
Oh, no need. You just walk and I will follow.
Very well. Isaac will make his way to the door. All the while, once in a while, he'll look back just to make sure she's following just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Which door did he point to? This one?
The opposite one. But,
The opposite one. Gotcha.
yeah. But on the other side, there's just a tiny room. Or it's not tiny, but it's just a small, like, office, basically. And, she basically just, as soon as she walks into that room, she sort of immediately starts to look to the three of you. Almost like suddenly she can see again. And she just looks.
Are her eyes bleached as some blind people have?
They are in the way that, I mean, it doesn't. If you're talking about like the irises, yeah, then
Yeah.
they seem almost pale white, but yeah, they are. But her eyes now seem to sort of bounce between the three of you as soon as she walked in this room. And she will just say, the prince has allowed me to use my powers away from the others, of course, as I am, to help you. As such, it does help to be able to, well, use some powers to, well, mitigate those senses which I have sadly been depraved of. It's just sort of like she probably notices the way, the fact that you will notice, because yeah, it's like she looks basically to the three of you, and she'll just one at a time, basically, she'll take out just a small needle, and she will just basically ask you to present your hand. She will prick it so that there is a tiny wound there, and then she will ask you to focus deeply on filling your finger with blood. Almost intuitively, your body will respond as if you think about it like you're moving a finger. Just think about it like you're trying to focus your essence into the tip of it. And that should be it. I need a bit of blood to do what I need to do.
Yep, Catherine removes her left glove as the finger pricked, and I imagine she'd have a much easier time doing it than the other two.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking tentacle sprouts from the finger.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, Isaac will.
yeah, to all of you, it will come way more. It might sound like mumbo jumbo, but you'll all see how surprisingly intuitive it is once you just think about actively doing it. Yeah.
All right. Well, as Isaac has his finger pricked, he'll ask the woman, I've noticed that I've been having trouble closing a bullet wound I've had in recent days. It doesn't seem to close on its own. Will this be the same?
None of the injuries we sustain really heal. We are dead, after all, but what I think my clan knows more than almost all others is that great power flows in the blood. Great power that if you focus like you focus on your finger, if you focus instead on healing this wound, on removing it, then so it shall be.
I see. Thank you. And he'll just make sure the blood spills from his finger.
Mm-hmm. She takes a bit of it, and you see that she just turns around slightly, but if you do a perception alertness.
This is my favorite role. Should have just put all my fucking dots in alertness.
Hey, you're not doing bad.
Hey, I did better than you, probably.
As his luck is coming along nicely.
Mhm.
Mm. Yep. You notice that she just slightly touches she touches the blood with her fingers, and she's almost like like gently rubbing her fingers against it. And as she sort of turns away to the side, you see that she's mumbling something, but you can't quite tell what it is. And she's just slightly doing these. It almost looks like these circular movements with one hand, which seems odd because they seem highly choreographed, but yet again to you they don't seem to do any sort of purpose, but they seem highly choreographed. And at once she just goes, next, and then she goes to the next person.
Does she have any reaction with each of us? Apart from next?
Well, if you do a perception empathy, well, who do you want to? When do you want to? Or what is it you're looking for exactly?
I want to see if she goes like, "Oh fuck," sort of like, "This is bad," or "Yeah, that's fine,
Okay.
totally normal." So perception empathy.
But about who exactly? About you? About anyone?
Well, I guess I'd have to see her reaction when it came to Catherine.
Yep.
Then compared to the reaction she had to me, and then to the
Okay.
reaction she had to Julia. So I assume the three of us, right?
Yep.
So that would be
Wow. You actually rolled well.
for once.
Yeah.
She doesn't really seem frightened or anything, but she might seem a bit puzzled.
On all of our
Yeah,
tests?
quite, yeah.
Okay.
Not a single Camarilla clan.
I mean, one might have been at some point, but sure as fuck isn't now.
And she just goes, well, I mean, I just sort of assume that you all went through the same process. I don't have to describe it every
Yeah.
time because it's basically, it's almost like a routine checkup at this point, like the three of you just do the same thing. But after that, she just goes, well, that's about it. And then she just moves back, remembering where the door was, seemingly anyway, and then just enters back into the room and walks. Well, actually, give me a perception alertness.
Wow.
God
Well,
damn.
Catherine and Isaac mute.
I wish to take this opportunity to tell you.
Right. Be right back.
You notice that she seems to be walking way differently than she did when first entering the room. Now, having been inside the room before, seemingly knowing the size of it, knowing where the prince was in the room and everything like that, she seems to be walking with complete confidence, remembering exactly where all of the different parts of the room are. So she seems to have quite remarkable spatial awareness, and that you do notice.
Okay.
She saw her
Here we are.
preparing to nuke Elysium with lure flames, huh?
Yep. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I knew it.
Also known as the aftermath of Mexican food.
What?
Well, she walks back into the main room and walks back over to the prince.
All right,
Puzzled, I follow, standing off a bit to the side, sort of waiting to see if the prince will allow me, i.e. us, to approach.
yeah, but Isaac will do the same.
Julianne will probably just hang by the door, like next to Victor.
Okay.
Oh, poor baby.
Victor just looks at her. Tough night.
Julia is like,
Um. She, as you walk in, you hear her just saying to the prince. Well, I assume you're not that far behind her, but she's just started talking to the prince, and she's just gone. I have done the checkup that you wanted. Their strength in the blood is quite strong. I haven't had the luck to test very many of the Chicago kindred yet, though many distrust our clan, but they are the strongest ones that I have laid my hands upon, with the exception of Mr. Mercier. And he just sort of Royce just sort of, he looks very concerned at that, and he just goes, "Thank you, Miss Adamu. I will call you if there's anything else." And he will. It's almost as if his whole sort of jovial nature is sort of out the window, and now he's almost just like sitting there, almost like scowling, just looking into the floor tiles, and it's just sort of sitting there, just rocking a tiny bit back and forth.
Are we gonna be vampire chow? Are people gonna get
Yeah.
our power through diablerie? Uh, does the woman stick around and keep talking, or has she left the prince?
She will actually walk over to the piano.
Okay. In that case, Isaac will step forward. Prince, may I?
Hmm? Of course. Don't mind me, just thinking.
Apologies. Catherine, like I said, she mentioned the traditions, and one of those traditions.
Yes.
One of those traditions was to not sire without permission.
He raises an eyebrow at that. Yes, that is correct.
I'm not familiar how that process works. Would it be possible that we have done it in the past by accident?
No.
Very well. Would it be possible for us to know how it's done so we can prevent it should the occasion appear? If there is a risk, of course.
Subtle, very subtle. To prevent it, yeah.
Yeah, to prevent it.
I think such knowledge should be better kept among, well, the more gray within our community. We have enough problems with unsanctioned sirens the way it is. We don't need more of it. And even if you say that, or you wouldn't do that, you could still tell somebody who would. So I'd rather not.
Very well, as you wish. Furthermore, I would like to learn some more about our kind. Not so much the politics or the social structure of our kind, as I'm sure I will learn that with time and experience, but I'm quite puzzled how this, and Isaac gestures to himself, is possible.
What exactly are you asking?
Well, would there be anyone in the city who could enlighten me on how what the history of our kind is, what we're capable of, what we, and he gestures to Catherine, might be capable of?
Most of our kind are insular. We don't like others, to be able to know exactly what we can do, because, well, there are conflicts among us, as you would expect in, well, any community.
Yes, of course.
So I think you're gonna be hard pressed to find, well, the person you're looking for.
Very well. I won't take up any more of your evening, though. Should you be looking for our sires, I'd like to offer my assistance in any way that might be helpful.
Well, that's good of you. I will keep that in mind, but I do believe that other than the overpass incident, Hoyt and Whispers are looking into the rest of it for me.
Very well, Prince. Isaac just gives a slight bow and takes a few steps back.
He just goes back to contemplating the tile work.
Okay. I will not bother him further. No.
I was just imagining Prince slowly starts focusing and thinking again, and Catherine, by the way, Prince! What? But yeah, Isaac will turn around, go to Julianne. Has she been like chit-chatting with Victor, or just standing there awkwardly?
No, she's been just standing there, mostly watching, even though if she can't hear the interaction between the prince and Isaac.
Julianne, we had a word with the prince. From what I gather, it's best if we don't just share with everyone what we can do. Though I'm sure some will eventually find out. It seems best if we keep to ourselves. I'm not entirely sure who else in the city you can trust, but differences or no, if you need anything, I'll be here, and that goes for both of you.
I'll keep it in mind.
Catherine seems a bit absent-minded. Wondering about that thing that Tremere did.
What about it?
Is that
When
in character?
yes.
Oh, I wasn't saying it out loud. I'm just saying
Oh,
she's
okay.
absent-minded, just wondering about it.
Oh. If possible, it might be a good idea for us to meet during the week. If nothing else, just to check on each other. But I would like to figure out specifically how we can ensure that we're all safe. I don't expect any of these people to hurt us, but I'm better safe than sorry.
How would you make sure that we're safe?
Well, I wouldn't be able to make sure that we're safe, but checking on each other.
Out of
If
character.
one of us...
Out of character, I think this might be a good time to just move away from Victor. He's just like hovering there.
Victor's just like, don't mind me.
Listening to
Traces, but
everything.
non-recorder.
Let's go over to our lamp in the corner. This
I
is our
mean,
lamp now. Lamp.
Julianne has been.
Yeah,
Eh,
well,
never
if
mind.
you go how about you roll me self-control now? As you're
Why?
that close.
All
Not
of
you,
us.
not you. Just Julian.
What?
Okay.
Why?
But you don't need to know why.
Why?
We
With
do.
her fucking Ravnos. Okay. What, she likes hanging around ghouls or something?
Sorry, is it self-control? Am I
Yeah.
rolling over? Yeah. Yeah.
She needs
Ah,
to roll to get away from
oof. Close.
Victor's charm.
Okay,
Very close.
the two of you mute.
Oh, fine.
Okay.
The standing lamp next to you is an exquisite older sort of lamp with it almost looks like the shade is of it almost looks like stained glass.
Kind
And
of like a Tiffany lamp.
hmm?
Tiffany lamp.
A bit, yeah. But it has a sort of one of those I don't know what you call it exactly, but you pull on it and the lamp goes on and off. I don't know what that is
Yeah.
called exactly, but like the cord or whatever.
Yeah.
And it seems to be made out of, well, it's probably not made out of, but it has these sort of small baubles that look like pearls almost. And at the end of it is this it almost looks like a little dumbbell, and it to Julianne's trained eye, it seems like it's made out of, or at least plated with, gold. And it seems incredibly enticing to just snatch it right off and just rip it off the cord and just take it, because who would know? Nobody would know. And she hears that sort of the voice in the back of her head going, "Yeah, you can take that. You can take that. You should take that. You can use that later. You can take that." Although she manages to sort of push it back a bit for now, it's definitely there.
Mm-hmm.
What secrets have
Oh, they're secrets, aren't they? So that would defeat the whole
Yeah,
purpose.
we're just gonna have to wait until tomorrow to see in the video.
Wow. Spoilers. Okay, yeah.
Now I'm sure Ez will tell me even before I start editing.
Oh yeah, probably.
I
Shit.
made one mistake. Damn it.
And we will
It's
hold
okay.
it against you forever.
Okay. Well, you moved over to this corner.
Yes.
Yeah. Isaac will just have a look back and then. But yes, I believe that well, I personally can't keep us safe, but just knowing that we're all still around, that is enough help to all of us. If one of us disappears, who knows what the other two
It might be.
will have to watch out for.
It might be a good idea to establish a sort of communal haven, I guess.
Haven, like
You know, some place to sleep during the day. And so I figure if anyone, our sires or not, is following us, we are way easier targets alone. Now, if we're all bunched up together, then in a way, yeah, we might just be making their jobs easier for them. But if we are attacked, I think three of us being together gives us a better chance.
yeah. Where should we make this haven?
I don't know.
I mean, I would make a suggestion, but I'm sure neither of you would be very excited for it.
The sewers?
I think
No,
he
of
means
course
his
not.
church.
I assume that wouldn't be the best option for both of you.
I know a place.
Very well. Um, you could share it on the way out. I'm not entirely sure if you're comfortable just saying it now. So I'll leave it. I'll leave that up to you.
I can say it. I don't mind if you don't mind.
Well,
Well,
All right. Well, I've been walking around, try to see what this place is all about. Sightseeing, I suppose. Well, I found this place. I mean, it's huge, but then again, maybe that's a good thing. Uh, well, you're local, aren't you? She looks at Isaac.
I used to be, yes.
Well, there's this place, the Genesis Tower. Seems
Would
empty.
I know what that is?
Yes, you would. Anyone that
Okay.
lives in Gary would know. It's a massive, well, massive. It's like 20 stories tall or something. It's like this massive building right next to like the big derelict cathedral in the center of the downtown. It's very hard to miss.
Is it is it not like in public use?
It's empty.
Do you know?
I wouldn't know.
Mhm.
Well, back in character. Um, that could be a good idea, but
part of me thinks it might be better to stay around people. But again, if whoever's after us doesn't really care about the masquerade, somewhere away from people might be better, so we don't have to worry about the masquerade if something does happen.
question is, would we be able to hide in such a prominent landmark?
Well, would they expect us to be in a prominent landmark?
Suppose not.
Plus, it's big enough. It's easy to hide in a big place.
Or,
Easier than in a small place.
or we could just, make home in one of the hotels for the time being. Don't really fancy the idea of staying in an abandoned building.
The two of you apart from Filip, mute.
Good God. At least it's my turn now to hear something. I don't even have to roll for it. Come on. Go away, Spaniard. There. He didn't even get to hear me call him a Spaniard.
Well,
okay.
yeah, I was just going to add, just in case you didn't get that part in the downtime, about the Genesis Tower Hotel. It is very recently vacated. Like, we're talking about a month or two. It's like so it's not been abandoned like many of the other buildings. Like, and it's totally
I completely glanced over it.
Okay, well, that's fine.
The most underwhelming deafened revelation.
Wow. Okay, then you're not
You
getting
have
any more.
2 legs. Dun, dun, dun.
It's that video of the cat realizing he has 4 paws and not just 2.
So, okay, yeah. But I guess since Genesis Tower is only recently vacated, I guess we can make something of it.
Recently vacated. You mean it's
Yeah.
currently unoccupied?
That's what I said, yes.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Let's just let's just call it for the time being, and then we'll see if we can find something better.
Yeah, we'll have to explore the building first. Make sure we're not the only ones with that idea.
Right. The last thing we need is some vagrants popping in on us while we sleep.
Yeah. You seem to be rather business savvy, Catherine.
One way to put it.
Um, would you be in a position to acquire property in the city with a relative amount of ease?
With a objective amount of ease, yes. City isn't really. I also did a bit of my own research. The city is not in a great shape right now, so prices are quite low. I mean, I could probably
Good old,
buy the hotel.
good old Gary is well, she needs all the assistance she can get.
Gee, huh?
You'll get used to it once you spend some time here.
Yeah. Spend time here. There's a nice image.
Well, someone in your position might actually find it useful.
Yeah, I'm still processing the situation, you know.
I'm just... Though I wish we weren't put in this position to begin with, I am glad that I wasn't left alone when it comes to dealing with this new existence. So,
Makes you think about that guy back in the trailer, huh?
yeah.
He was just like this fucking monster. And now, in hindsight, he's probably just as scared and as lost as we were.
Yeah. And, I mean, I'm starting to realize that what happened to him, the way he behaved, it might not even have been his fault. I mean,
I felt it when we
yeah,
first tasted the blood.
imagine waking up with that feeling.
Feels completely foreign rage. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it feels right.
It feels natural, not right. It cannot feel right. It
I don't
cannot.
know. Maybe it'll make more sense in a month, maybe in a year. Maybe in 10
Yeah.
or 100. I don't know, just...
I suppose if there's one thing we got now, it's time.
Right.
I don't know why this happened, but it did. And we have the tools to survive this. We have the tools to stay in this world and help people. We just cannot succumb to that again.
Well, your priority may be on helping people. Mine is... Let's just focus on making sense of it all first, okay? Then we can talk about altruism and philanthropy or whatever. Speaking of our positions and tools that we have, Julianne, I'm not sure if you heard it, but the Tremere told the prince that our strength of blood was extraordinary.
And
She
what
said,
does that mean?
I'm not sure, but she said the only person stronger than us was Mercier, and he is the Prince of Chicago.
How do you know that?
Prince told me, same night we were talking about the traditions, clans, and everything.
Should we venture out to meet this prince?
No.
Would that be
Why?
wise?
No, not yet, at least. As Royce put it, we need to be officially recognized before we can leave this domain. He said if we go to Chicago, well, if I go to Chicago, as I had to check if I could, because I need to sort things out back home, but he said, Mercier, he's quite a traditionalist at heart, and he would destroy me or any of us if we showed up there before we were recognized. But I'm just thinking about the implications. So if this strength of blood or whatever, if the only one who rivals us in that respect is the prince of one of the biggest cities in America, like, I mean, I just don't know what to make of it. Like, on the one hand, it sounds like a good thing, like, stronger, right? But I think it just might make us a target if word gets
Yeah.
out.
We've been given a gift, but I don't think this gift will come free of consequences.
So
You
it's a
think
gift
this is
now.
a gift?
Well, yes. Despite the damnation that we are being put through,
Despite.
yes. Despite that damnation, we are. If everything goes well, we may be in a position to make the city a better place, to make ourselves better. We do not need to remain pure and mortal to help others. Sometimes corruption is just a part of life.
Look, enough about helping others, okay? We have to help ourselves first. So
I
right
suppose
now,
so.
I want us to figure out what we are, what we can do, and what our place in this city and outside of it is going to be. Then I'm gonna think about donating to charities or whatever.
Very well. Well, given that you mentioned shadow manipulation, I suppose I could try and do that once I'm outside of this building.
Yeah.
But who knows how many things we're capable of?
Do you think that Tremere, would she have been able to tell what clans we belong to? I mean, if she could see this air quotes strength of our blood, would she? Well, she didn't tell the prince, even if she did.
Yeah, well,
Well, she did say they're not trusted. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Maybe that she doesn't tell everything.
I suppose we'll see in time. Because if that information did make it out, it will have to be brought up at some point in our existence. Particularly when it comes to interactions with the prince. I think if we make ourselves useful to these people, we may just be seen as part of the city. And if we
That's-
are, we may actually be granted our independence, as you put it.
Well, that's the idea.
Yeah. The issue will be to not let anyone take advantage of us, of what we can do.
Yeah. Just a quick out of character question. Did the prince mention we were gonna be presented tonight?
Nope.
I'm looking around. Oh yeah, after the trial period, okay.
Well, regardless, I think we should focus on making ourselves approachable for the next few nights. But do keep in mind this conversation, the communal haven, the regular meetups. All of this might actually help us all survive this. I'm not entirely sure how much people here can be trusted, though I know there are good people among these kindred. There must be.
That's an optimistic way of looking at it.
How about you all give me a perception and alertness?
Oh yeah, that roll I've learned by heart at this point. Oop, I did a GM roll.
Nope.
Reflex.
Will it still show in the
It will
in the
not,
recording?
but I can see it, and
yeah.
it's fine.
If you take a screenshot and send it, I'll add it in post.
I mean, it's fine. It's 3
People
success
need to
pass.
see that roll. They need to see that roll.
It's
It's
a
the
3
cornerstone
success
of this
pass.
session.
Yeah.
3 ones.
Let me see. Yeah, you all have 3 successes, so you basically notice it at the same time. You hear a sort of slight knocking on the, well, it's not slight, but it sounds like a slight knocking on the outer door. You can hear it. You hear the door open, the outer door open, and then it closes again, the outer door. And then there's just a sound of metal striking the tiles as somebody is moving closer and closer to the entrance of the ballroom.
Hearing this, Julianne immediately the first ring of this she hears, she just immediately her head darts there, and as it gets closer, she starts to back away from the door. And she probably ends up again by Victor. Just sort of pressed
Seeing
against
this reaction,
Again.
I would stick with her.
Yeah. As soon as the sound starts, happening, Isaac will turn to the front door, and without taking his eyes off of it, he'll kind of start taking steps back with one of his hands, kind of instinctively, in the way of his, well, what essentially is his coterie right now, sort of like in a protective motion, even though he probably can't do shit to protect them. And he'll back away with.
The door to the ballroom opens. And the man you see there on the other side of the door entering this ballroom is hard to describe. He's a bit gaunt. He's leaning on a long, dark, sort of ebony walking staff that seems to have a silver sort of handle on it and a silver or some sort of steel knob at the end of the stick as well. And as he moves into the room, you hear the familiar striking sound of the metal against the tiles as he puts his weight on the stick as he walks into the room. The most striking thing about him, perhaps, is his strange complexion and emerald, almost fiery eyes. And I will just show you the man walks into the room.
As soon as this man walks in, yeah, if you notice Isaac's arm that was extended to the side, sort of in a protective motion, immediately his fingers kind of curl up and he seems frozen in place. His back straightens, and it's almost like he started very slightly, but noticeably shaking.
Isaac.
As soon as the door opens and this unfamiliar presence walks in, Hoyt quickly gets up and moves to about here, and Whispers just sits sort of on the edge of the sort of seating thing. She almost sits at the ready to sort of pounce forward any direction. And when I mentioned before that his expression is strange, or his sort of complexion is strange, it's probably a bit hard to see in the picture, but you can probably get a tiny gist of it. It seems as if there are like small like balls or spheres of light under his skin that move along the veins of his face.
Here we go.
And he has his eyes are they don't just have a strong color, but they almost seem to glow, as if you could shut off the lights and you could still see his eyes. And as he walks closer, leaning on his walking stick as he does so, the prince gets up and sort of just puts his hand out in front of him. And he basically just goes, "I don't know who you are, sir, but you're in the wrong place."
During this, Isaac has taken a few steps back and he's clearly agitated, sort of like his look is bouncing between the new guest, Hoyt, and the prince, sort of frantically looking how things are going to go.
Mm-hmm.
But he is not, in no way, shape, or form, even remotely calm.
Mm-hmm.
He almost seems like he's entering a fight or flight mode.
Yes, seeing if we can see the sort of quote unquote light under his skin, it all makes sense. We know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Julianne just doesn't take her eyes off the man And actually, because they stand right next to that other door, she kind of reaches and tries the door handle to see if it's still open.
Yeah, I mean the door is still open. Yeah, but as he is
The tactical fuck off.
the man just sort of scans the room as he is being asked this, and he sees the three of you, and his eyes just especially falls upon Isaac. And how about all of you give me a perception and empathy?
I really should more dots improved.
Ouch! What the hell?
You're stealing as luck.
No, I'm not.
I love me some twos today.
It's like I have half your dice and I'm rolling just as well as you guys are.
It's not the size, it's how you use it.
Both Isaac and Julianne mute.
Mute, peasants. It's my time to see.
Okay.
Tell me everything.
You notice that as he looks around, he seems bitter, but not just bitter. He seems almost filled with fury. But as soon as his eyes fall on the three of you and fall on Isaac in particular, you sense the fury and the anger sort of fade away, and he gives what I would almost call a smile, a slight smile, but you can tell that there is, whatever it is, there is deep emotion behind his actions. Yeah.
So what does he do after he diablerizes Isaac?
Oh, that's
What the fuck, dude?
well, he
Yeah, but at this point, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna sort of put a hand on Isaac's shoulder, just whisper, "It's okay, it's okay." But just the vaguest attempt to get him to calm down.
Yeah, Isaac doesn't. He simply. It's like he doesn't even notice the hand. He just keeps darting, like his eyes are darting around him.
The man being told to stop doesn't stop. He takes a couple more steps forward, and as he does, Hoyt quickly covers a bit of ground, and Whispers moves sort of almost like slithering along the wall, and you're surprised how, because she looks very bulky, the fact that she manages to move so quietly along the side of the room is surprising given how bulky she looks. But she does. And after he's walked almost into the center of the room, he stops and he just looks at Theodore Royce and he goes, "I'm afraid you have something of mine. And something that belongs to my companions. And I think you should know better than to cross those who are your elders by many years, young one." And as he says that, you quickly hear, well, those of you who haven't heard it before, Isaac has heard it before, but he has this sort of strange squeakiness to his voice, almost like he's constantly on the verge of bursting into tears, but he's not, obviously. But he has this very sort of strange voice, and the voice doesn't fit the image at all. The image, sort of his face and everything is quite intimidating, but his voice is all but. But Royce just looks him up and down and goes, "Who exactly might you be, and why do you presume that they are yours?" And he just sort of points to the three of you. And the man just thinks a little bit, and he just goes, "My name is Torrance, and I know they belong to me and my companions because that is my right by blood." And he looks over to them, or to the three of you for a little bit, and he looks back to the prince and he says, "And you will not keep them hostage." And you can all tell, you don't have to do a perception empathy for this, but he is just absolutely filled with rage as he says the last sentence.
I wanted to say that, like, the moment the man is not looking at them, but at Royce. Well, Julianne does want to go and slip into that other room. Just bye.
Survival instinct, bitches.
Okay.
Fuck all y'all.
Well, do you want to do so quietly?
Preferably, yeah.
Well then do a wits and stealth.
I'm not going anywhere. I want to see where this goes. This intrigues me. This may be
You are
answers.
welcome.
I think Isaac is just way too scared shitless to move. The mediocrity in that role.
I know. Mediocre.
As you try to open the door, it squeaks. And
that face.
Everyone in the room just goes like,
yeah, and basically both Whispers and Hoyt sort of both just take their eyes off him for a second and just see that it's you opening the door and just go back to looking at Torrance. But yeah, they've definitely noticed the fact that
he looks at her like, "You are ruining my dramatic timing."
"You fucking imbecile."
Oh, do you walk out of the room, or do you just
Well, if they notice, probably the other dude noticed, so they just closes it again.
Okay. At this point, Victor also seems to be moving to about here, and he just continues to look to Royce, and he says, "I don't quite think you realize what you're doing, but I will give you a chance to, well, release your hostages. And that will be that. We won't burn your little wasteland to the ground. Otherwise," and he just taps his sort of stick twice on the floor, and he goes, "All of you are forfeit." And he just sort of points to everyone, apart from the three of you. And at this, Hoyt seems now to be sort of almost hunched over, in like as if he's prepared to just like tackle him. And Meriadamu moves here, and the the piano player is just sort of out the room. He's just out on the side. He's just gone.
Fuck this, I don't get paid enough.
1 blood point per month? Hell no.
And yeah, he just looks you all over again and just goes. And Hoyt basically just looks at him and goes, "There's no chance in hell that you're gonna take all of us down at once. And who says you'll even leave this place talking like you do?" And he clearly, like, the prince tries to sort of put his hand out to stop him from talking. Hoyt doesn't give a shit. He just continues talking anyway, sort of egging him on. And Torrance just looks over to Hoyt and just goes, "You're probably right. But should either of us fight, innocents die tonight. That much is sure and certain. But what is also certain is that you will hand them over." And he puts his sort of stick in the sort of between his legs, and he sort of leans his entire weight onto it, and sort of just stares Royce in the face with his very uncanny eyes. Yep. You wanted to say something?
Would I be able to notice if he was doing a certain thing that I've done before? Just by behavior alone? Or
Probably not. If he was doing that. But he just looks him in the eye. And Royce again just seems to try to calm Hoyt down. He just goes, "Hoyt, you calm down now. These are not my hostages, sir. You have no idea what you're talking about. And I don't know who you are to presume to talk to me in that way in my city." And he just, again, sort of a fury off, I guess, between the two of them. They're just both sort of pissing each other off all the more. And at this point, Torrance just, again, looks over to Isaac and he says, "Don't worry, child. We'll set you free soon enough. And you." And he looks over to the both of you. And he just turns to Hoyt and he goes, while he looks at Hoyt, he just says, "What sort of leader can't even keep his dogs on a leash?" And I will actually do a roll.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Calling a gangrel a dog, yeah. Classic.
Woof.
Really? Woof?
This is where Hoyt rolls 4 ones.
What is the difficulty? Is it one success?
Malicious taunts is difficulty 4.
But it's one success, right?
Oh, what do you mean?
Yeah, I think
success?
You just
I
need
think
one
it's just
success to
one
pass,
success
right?
to- pass.
But you need
Well,
more
it
than one.
depends on how you rule it. Like, as per the core book, you need to accumulate a total of 5 successes to fully overcome frenzy. But usually people just don't do that because it's just, too much. Like, if he has 1 success, he should probably make another roll next turn.
That's fair. I'll go with that. Yeah, Hoyt is visibly, sort of, yeah. He's maybe not shaking, but you see like claws burst out of his the tips of his fingers. Which again isn't. It does not look like it's something natural that just happens to people. So, and Torrance just looks over him and he says to the prince, and he goes, "I know your traditions, Sensei. Your second in command can't even keep to them." And he takes a step closer to the prince. And at this point, Whispers moves in like this.
Yeah, if he keeps getting closer, Isaac will kind of close his fists, still with a straight back, kind of shaking a little, and he'll start taking steps forward.
Okay.
Big boy.
And he'll just start putting his hands up. There's no need for all of this violence. Just and he will look at Torrens. If I go with you, will you leave these people alone?
Once all of you are released and put back in your rightful place, then yes.
Isaac will just look at the prince.
The prince will again just sort of look, sort of, I guess, sort of. He seems conflicted, but he still sits there, sort of leaning forward in his sort of big chair, and he goes, Isaac, 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 there's no need to sacrifice yourself for whatever this is. I'm sure that you mean well, Isaac. And when he just says that, Torrance just goes, "You don't know anything about anything, nor do you, dog." And he again says dog right in the face of Hoyt, just trying his best to piss him off. And I will roll
For
again.
once.
This time I will do the same difficulty. Okay, I
Fuck.
will. Yeah, so again, one success, but now it's one success twice in a row. I will deem it not good enough.
Oh no.
He Hoyt jumps toward Torrance, who just stands there. He doesn't really do anything. And Hoyt slashes at him with its claws, which I guess you don't even technically need to roll, do you, when you when he's just standing there. But
I mean, you roll, but it's mostly to see if you get any extra successes.
Yeah,
It's not so much to see if you get.
Basically, if the target isn't moving or trying to resist in any way, it's an auto success, but you do roll for any extra carryover to damage.
yep. I believe with Protean, you just do like this. Because you don't do anything extra, you just change the damage to...
Yeah, it's aggravated.
okay,
It's
yeah.
he does get +1 from claws.
Oh, it is +1, okay.
Mm.
Is it to hit as well, or just damage?
Strength +1 for damage, nothing to hit.
Okay, yeah.
I love it, I'm just a talking rule book.
Well, it's useful to have a player who, knows Gangrel very well. Not just the rules, just the
everything
fucking.
very well.
So
Well,
that
someone
is...
who's like, how can I max the damage I do with my claws in another game? Kind of.
That is 5. Jesus. So
He just-
That's not a good
4
sign.
extra successes. So that would be strength +5. No, how much?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He's gonna
Are
one-shot
you
your
just gonna
sire.
kill? Are you just gonna kill this guy? Jesus.
Hoyt just
Fucking
one-shots
Christ.
your sire. One-shots the elder.
So that is 4 points of damage.
Ag.
Oh, we didn't do doubles for 10 in damage, right? So only 3
No.
actually.
Tens are not tens don't work.
Yeah, so only
in
3.
damage. Neither do.
But
Only 3.
So he just slashes at the face of Torrance, and you just see him sort of grasp his face, take a few steps back, and then suddenly, just before your eyes, the personage changes completely. No longer does it look like this man. Instead, it looks like a young woman who is now just standing there. Her face, her throat, everything just slashed open, and she's just spurting blood all over the floor, and she's just screaming her head off. Yeah, what do you do?
Immediately, Isaac, after he, overcomes the shock, just runs forward and tries to tend to the woman. Like he'll apply pressure where pressure is needed. He'll try to basically do anything he can to make sure this woman doesn't fucking die.
Yeah.
Julianne is in the other room.
She's in the other room. Well, then she hears... But it doesn't matter if she's in the other room. She definitely hears these screams because she's...
Fine, but,
I'm just standing there, just looking. Not
And
frozen in
actually-
horror, but
yeah, at this
captivated
point,
by
she
the scene.
Actually,
opens
I want to... Because Hoyt is now in a frenzy and has just ripped, or basically gotten someone's throat open and has blood spurted all over him. So I gotta... This is probably another self-control check, I imagine.
Well, if he's hungry.
Well, even if he's not, he's already frenzying, so...
Yeah, but he did, destroy the source of provocation. Technically, because this is no longer the person who provoked him in front of him.
That is true, I guess.
Yeah, it's now a screaming woman.
Now he rolls
Who he
degeneration.
just like.
Yeah, well, he
Fucking
did.
ripped
Well,
half
he
the face
definitely does that, but that we don't do right now. You know what? I will just do it with a very low difficulty with frenzy. It's probably a little bit hungry. You're always a little bit hungry when you're a kindred. It's fine.
Take
It's
that
fine.
V5 nonsense out of here.
It's
What
fine.
about you when you're hungry?
No, but you're always a little bit hungry. It even says in the V20 book, and you should know this, that it says that the
Ooh,
it says
aggravated damage.
it says that the only time a kindred feels fully sated is when it
they
drains somebody completely, or it or diablerie is like the only two times.
Yeah, we'll leave that for 5th session.
Yeah, yeah, the
Jesus,
5th one.
man.
Yeah,
That
going.
early.
But yeah, he calms down and he just sort of staggers back, not expecting this totally terrified woman who has her face and throat slashed open and just spurting blood all over the place. Who just sort of falls to the floor, and she's just clearly just in shock, and is just sort of like on her back, sort of trying to just move back toward the side of the room.
Yeah, I'll try to, but if I see her neck has been basically slashed open, I'll try to apply pressure to that area, and I'll just, look at Hoyt and people around and just say, just bring me some rags or something. Help!
Yeah, very quickly, Victor moves out of the room and just runs to the side room where Julianne is chilling in the corner there, and just finds some
He just walks in. Julianne's like,
he just finds some some cloth to clean off silverware and stuff with that is in there, and he just gets it all back and gets it to you. But yeah, at this point he runs over to help. Hoyt is just sort of backing up towards the wall. Whispers is just very interested in whatever is going on, and these two are running over to the prince and talking to him about something while all of this is going on.
wow, no shit's given. Great.
Well, there are clearly shits given. They just seem to think there are more important things than 4 people ganging up on one woman in the middle of the floor.
Fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll try to save this woman's life. Do I roll anything or?
Wait a second. How hungry are you?
I don't know. How hungry am I?
Actually, roll me self-control.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
No.
Great. Please, for once.
Oh my fucking god. Oh my god.
It's fine. It's fine.
Oh Jesus.
Make him roll again.
Yeah, just
This is not
No.
enough successes.
Shut up.
This is
Shut
only 2 successes. He needs
It's-
more.
Isn't it? Oh yeah, it is 2. It's not 3 because it's the 1. Yeah. Never mind. I mean, it is 2. It's fine. He's not that hungry, and it's okay. I mean, before it was 1 twice in a row, and I was just like, not enough. But this is 2. This is okay. Plus, I mean, he's not that hungry. But yeah, you do feel the urge to, even as you're sort of just sort of using the rag to clean off the wounds, you almost feel sort of compelled to just start licking off the cloth and just doing all sorts of disgusting things just to get as much of the blood inside you as possible. Not really caring how it looks or how people will react. But you manage
Probably
to...
with my age, like the fangs come out just instinctively, but I just don't do anything apart from that.
But you manage to stop that really primal urge inside of you from really coming out. Yeah, but what do you wanted to try to help this woman, so
Yeah.
roll me
I want to make sure she survives.
I mean, I would say it would probably be wits and medicine.
Yeah.
Alright. Fucking hell.
So you're just almost punching her in the face with the rag, but they're not quite that bad. I mean, you are
I mean, it
sort
should be
of
one
bandaging. You're
success.
bandaging her up but it's very crude. You're just sort of like tying like these rags around sort of the wounds, and you see the fact that the rags instantly go red with blood and whatever, but it also seems to be sort of seeping around the bandages many places. Like, it doesn't seem to be properly, like, completely stemming blood flow. And yeah, the woman is completely terrified, by the way, so actually she's like trying to get away from you. So I will actually well, one.
This might be. Would I do this?
Would you do what?
I think Isaac would. So hold on. You see that?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I'll just look at the woman while I'm taking care of her, and I'll just say, "You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay."
Using presence, huh?
Well, that's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
DMing, huh?
Let the man think.
If you're
Oh no, I'm waiting for you to roll it, my dude.
Oh shit. Okay. Hold on. I need to check.
Yeah, it's not.
what
It's
I
not.
need to roll.
It's not
Fuck.
me. I'm.
Okay, calm down. Calm down.
Charisma
Come
performance
on.
at
I got
difficulty 7, so
Says the guy is like, I never get presents. You know my characters, but you know all of it by heart. That's...
That would be. Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's enough for the situation.
well, she's not gonna be the only one affected if it is presence.
Yeah. Well,
Lowest willpower
It's-
first.
it's 2 successes, right? So it's lowest willpower first, but it is how many? Like the 5 closest or whatever.
Allow me to check. King.
It is so. At 2 successes, it's 2 people.
Yeah.
Lowest willpower first.
Lowest willpower first, so it will probably be
I mean, just
The
her and
woman-
Victor, right?
probably the woman and Victor. So 2 people right now. And I will actually do a. Okay.
No,
What?
don't do that. I don't like
What?
that
What
fucking.
was that for?
I like
No.
it. I like it. Do it. You should do it. I support your decisions.
Oh my god. Okay. So
Don't. Oh my god. God, you're getting me fucking worried.
yeah, basically the both Meriadamu and Cecilia are very busy with helping out or just talking to Royce about, you know, whatever's going on. And Hoyt sits in the sort of on the side there, and he's just, I mean, he's not hyperventilating, but he's just sort of like staring in the ground and just like sort of, yeah, just he seems a bit out of it, really. And then you have both Theodore Royce and Whispers looks at the situation that's happening in the middle of the floor. Royce looks looks a bit surprised, but and I mean, you don't see this, Isaac, but the other two clearly do. He looks a bit surprised, and he looks a bit annoyed, but he just goes back to talk to the others, and Whispers just has this like a grin on her face.
Yeah, Isaac doesn't really pay attention to that. He's just making sure that this woman starts calming down.
Well,
and
to be
he's
fair,
gonna-
like, all makes you like incredibly sort of drawn to
speaker.
it. But if
Receptive to their ideas as well.
But if she feels threatened by him on the onset, I think it still. Because I remember because you can't just like walk up to somebody, stab them, and just turn on awe, and they're like, oh, they're just happy with it.
The limitation is basically if what I'm trying to have her think is like borderline suicidal or actually suicidal, then yeah, it's a bad idea.
Okay, but I'm pretty sure it says something
that's basically
about
what it says in the.
Because it doesn't mean that she sees you as a friend, even if she.
No.
I remember
she wouldn't necessarily see me as a friend, but she would need to basically.
I'll just read it quickly.
As trying to hurt her, I don't think.
It does say danger breaks the spell of fascination, so
I mean,
she's definitely in danger.
I think that counts. I mean, she's probably still sort of drawn to you and sort of has hard time, but yeah, I don't think she would be calming down because I mean her face is slashed open. She's like spurting blood onto the floor, but she doesn't necessarily seem to be as threatened or considering you as much of a threat as Victor or the monster sitting behind Victor against the doorway. Because you gotta remember, Whispers is just sitting there by the door now.
Yeah, Isaac will just try and keep helping the woman, keep applying pressure, keep talking to her, and he'll just turn to Victor and say, look, we need to get her to a hospital, okay?
I will do that after talking to the master.
Fine, then go talk. And I'll just keep treating the woman.
Well, what would be a good thing to roll here? Do charisma leadership. As you're trying to make this woman not lose her fucking mind.
Really?
No,
more
it's
dice,
still
more
very,
chances to roll ones.
I mean, it's still very good. It's 3 successes, right? Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if the difficulty is 6, yeah.
I mean, it's usually willpower, and she does not have 6 willpower. She seems to believe the fact that you're trying to help her, but she's still obviously very shook up, and she's not going to like sit still and let you treat her and whatever because it obviously hurts and everything. But she's you know what? Let me actually roll a stamina for this woman, because she might just pass out. I mean, she's spurting blood all over the place.
She's
not passing out.
Like,
she's not. She's doing very well.
Fuck.
She got 3 successes on 2 dice. So.
Bruh.
Resilient woman.
Let's cool her.
Yeah, just on the middle of the floor. Yeah, that was great.
I mean, if the option, Isaac doesn't know what ghouls are, but if the option presents itself, he might actually do so if it means saving this woman's life. So, we'll see.
Yeah, but he doesn't know again how to.
Yeah, he doesn't even know what ghouls are, so he knows there's a human here. Doesn't know more about that.
What are the 2 others doing? Are you just standing there by the door, just like nope?
Pretty much, yeah. need to see how this plays out. Not
I mean,
interfere with
honestly,
anything.
Julian was looking if there's a window or anything in that goddamn room or any further
What?
doors leading away
Oh,
from there.
she's trying to actually get out of the building.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yes, there are windows, and yes, they open. She just jumps out and bolts, does she?
Yeah.
Okay,
That fucking face.
gun she is.
Well, okay, she goes out and she will go around the perimeter because she wants to see actually what the heck is going on. If there's anyone else waiting outside, because
Okay.
like, okay, she gets out, but there's someone else waiting there. It's just not gonna be helpful. So yeah.
Yeah, you can roll a perception alertness.
Mhm.
Why does she
What
keep
what
going
happens in these games? Like we swap lucks.
back?
Well, you, especially behind the house, sort of away from the clearing, which you usually arrive by, you don't really see any tracks or any obvious signs of anybody really being back there, and the sort of the trees and the brush and whatever is pretty thick. In addition to the fact that it's, I mean, it's not marshland, but it's sort of like it's a bit like wetland, the ground, so it's a bit like swampy. So it's not very comfortable to walk through, and you'd think that you'd hear somebody slopping through if they were coming that way. And on the sides and towards the clearing, you can't see anyone.
Okay.
Okay, so back inside, give me a medicine and wits roll.
Me?
Yeah, your last chance.
Who else?
Gotcha.
Last
Yeah, I'm
chance.
gonna medicate the woods.
Oof. Oof.
I mean,
Damn.
it might not
What is
even
with
be.
my rolls?
Yeah, I mean, you're probably bandaging. You're probably sort of just like putting another bandage on top of the old one and whatever. But I mean, it's a rough job.
Yeah, she's gonna need medical attention other than a rag to stop the bleeding.
Yeah. But yeah, Victor moves over to Royce. And he then moves back to the woman. Royce moves toward the woman and just sort of tells her to look at him. It's really important. He's gonna get her to a hospital. You gotta just look at him for a second. As she does, he just very gently says the word, or he just says the phrase, "Please, come with us." And as he just moves toward this side door over here, this way, the woman just follows, and Gable like holds around her somewhat, shepherding her into the sort of the side room, and they just sort of disappear off into this room.
Yeah, Isaac is just like on his knees with his hands covered in blood, just
And his
watching
face.
this happen.
And his
Yeah.
body and everything. Just probably like all of these tiles that the circle here hits are probably have a little bit of blood on them. Probably, I mean, they're not covered, but I mean,
there's blood everywhere. Pretty
yeah,
much.
the
It's just not huge amounts, but there's blood everywhere.
yeah, arteries can spurt quite a bit.
Yeah. Basically, while Isaac was, on his knees, but kind of putting his weight forward, he basically just lets his weight fall back and his hands just to the sides, and he'll just start breathing heavily, closing his eyes, and trying to, calm down, trying to forget the fact that there's pretty much blood all around him.
At this point, Whispers moves over to Hoyt, and Mary Adamu says something to Cecilia, after which she promptly moves toward the exit and disappears.
Okay, now, just because I didn't see her clan when she walked in, I have to say it now. Cursed Tremere blood is lifted from the air. Please continue.
Bloody.
No, I mean, it's your go. And at this point, I think probably Cecilia also moves into the room to see what's going on in here.
Yeah, I'll just go over to Isaac, see what how he's doing.
Yeah, you basically see Isaac just kind of with his head tilted backwards, eyes closed, like he's trying to focus. And you do notice that his fangs are out, but he's like trying to breathe and calm himself down.
Yeah, I'm just sort of opposite of him, kneeling down, and hopefully I don't get my suit bloody. That would be terrible. Like, Isaac, look at me.
Yeah. What is it?
You did everything you could.
Yeah. I need to wash. I need to get this blood off of me.
Are there like faucets in the other room?
Not really. I mean, you probably remember seeing a sink down by all those freezers and everything downstairs, but that's the only place that you've remembered seeing one. You haven't really had a need to, go to the bathrooms or anything.
Yeah. I think washing up will have to wait for a bit. Let's just see what Prince makes of this. So much for the question of if they found us or not, huh?
And well, it's not good, but well, at least we now know that we're not the only ones who can lose control.
I think that's
We should
all of us.
We should check on the sheriff. Where's Julianne?
I don't think checking on the sheriff is a good idea. He doesn't exactly like us, So let's just let Whispers do that part of the. She knows him better.
All right. Where's Julianne?
Just nods over in Julianne's general direction.
Oh, she's outside still,
What,
right?
outside of the fucking building?
Oh, she went outside. Okay.
Yeah, she's not
Oh
there.
yeah.
I don't know what.
Which way did she leave?
Well,
Well,
she
you-
slipped out through that door where.
Yeah, she went through
Okay.
this door and out of a window.
Okay, in that case,
You don't know.
I just nod over. I think she slipped into the back room.
All right. We should make sure she's okay.
Yeah. With that,
Look,
go over
and
to the side room.
before Catherine gets up, Isaac will just grab her by the collar. Look, might be obvious, but just want to make it as clear as possible. That thing was probably my sire.
Yeah, I figured that out.
I have no idea what he did. I don't know how he put that woman in that position, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that monster.
You won't be. You won't be.
Let's just go find Julianne. And Isaac kind of puts his weight to the side, starts getting up.
Mm-hmm.
Over to the room.
Well, in the room, I mean, Julianne would probably close the window after her, right, to not make it obvious that she had gone out that window, or would you just leave it open?
Windows
Uh,
open with a middle finger drawn
well,
on it.
I don't know how far up it is, whether she can actually like close it. Does it open in or out?
I mean, it probably opens straight up and down.
Oh, that. Okay.
Oh,
In that case, yeah,
I'm getting
sure.
flashbacks. I'm getting flashbacks now.
It's fine. But if it's closed, yeah, then you get into a room where there is nobody inside. A couple of desk drawers are open. One of the... It seems kind of messy considering the rest of the room is like immaculate, but those 2 drawers are open.
Where the hell did she go?
I don't know. I suppose we'll have to. And Isaac will just kind of look at the window. How lit is this room?
Well lit.
Okay, so I would probably see my reflection if I had one on the window.
Probably.
This is all well, yeah. If he sees me and no reflection next to me,
Yeah.
it would be obvious.
Yeah.
But this is where we come to one technical question: the reflection only affects the vampire, not their clothing, right? Because that's often glanced over, and it just never really made sense to me that they basically get camera invisibility, like them and everything.
I mean,
have on them.
they don't get camera invisibility because
Unless the
cameras don't
camera
have
depends on the
reflector. Yeah, they don't have reflections
Yeah,
in a way.
old cameras.
Yeah.
Hashtag not all cameras.
Hashtag basically all cameras. But yeah, yeah. So I don't know because yeah, I haven't really thought about whether I do think that they're supposedly vanish completely from.
I don't know. It's open to interpretation. It's just I
I
always
think
thought
it's
it was
kind of like, well, I think it's the same argument as like shape shifting. Will the clothes go as well? I think if a power affects everything, then
But
with
this
one
is-
power, then it should affect
but
it with
this
the
isn't
other.
a power, it's a curse.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, otherwise it can be super hard. But is it like, oh, but then they just they put on face paint and then they have a reflection, right? You can pull that forever. So I think I'm just gonna rule it that they like clothing and all, like it's a supernatural curse. I think that's what makes the most sense.
Okay.
I'm just gonna run it like that. I think. But
Yeah,
but it's not really, again, it's not really invisibility on cameras or anything. It's just for
most.
reflections like
Yep.
mirrors and things.
yeah. Isaac will be talking and then he just stops and looks at the window. You weren't kidding.
Nope. Sure weren't. Now where we're standing, does it seem like the window is the only logical place she could have gone?
Unless she's hiding in one of the like bureaus
Start
or
opening all the
cupboards or
tiny
whatever.
drawers.
No, but I
What?
mean, not all of them are tiny. Some of them have quite big doors. You don't necessarily know what's behind them. But I mean, unless she's in one of them, then she probably went outside. If she didn't sneak back in the main room while you weren't looking, and sort of left another way.
Well, if she's not in the room, God damn it, where did she run off to? At this point, do we have like a phone? Because did we get phones? I mean, I did go shopping during the downtime.
Yeah, I think if any of you wanted to go shopping for a phone, you probably have one at this point. It's not
I
like
do
it's gonna
have
be like
one, but yeah, she doesn't.
Yeah,
Or
like
whatever number she did.
can basically get like a really really shitty phone for like $20 or whatever, right? So it's not like, oh, what a great expense, right? You gotta have 5 dots in resources to do that. But yeah, so it's fine. You don't have to worry about that.
Catherine checks her iPhone 20.
Yes. Her diamond-studded, like garish.
Gary-ish.
Yeah. So it's just a piece of shit, a rusty piece of shit.
Just a brick with a screen.
Oh my god.
But yeah, you don't see. But I guess you probably haven't put each other's numbers in necessarily though, because you
Yeah,
haven't met up.
yeah, that's
No,
what
we
I
haven't
said.
swapped numbers yet.
Okay, back in character.
Yep.
Well, seems like she hit the road.
Yeah, I suppose we'll have to. We'll meet up later.
Uh,
Bye.
at this point, would Julianne still be outside the building, or?
Well, how far is this place from civilization? I say that with air quotes because it's Gary.
Okay, so. Oop. Let me just.
Nap time.
The
yeah.
exact location of the mansion is let me see. I have it marked. It is right here.
Oof.
It's in that
Oh boy.
big empty block there, which is just woods.
Yeah, it's long, a long way. Well, if there's no other perceived threat outside, you might just go around and go back in the front door.
Well, the two others, not you, but the two others, please roll me perception alertness.
Oh yes, I'll have it hard coded into my DNA 4 dice.
I should just make like a macro that rolls
Yeah,
perception. and alertness
both of
automatically.
you can hear at this point an engine starting and a vehicle moving away from the house. And Julianne, you can see it. It's the Jeep that you know from remember from before, and it sort of goes full speed by you as you're almost at the entrance of the building.
Mm-hmm.
Well, either Julianne has a car and just left, or that would be the woman going to the hospital.
She just shakes her head, moves back into the main room.
Yeah. Isaac follows.
Struck by an idea, Julian actually now jogs back inside and sees who's inside the room.
Inside the main room. Okay. Yeah, no, it's well, the people you see inside the room. What up?
Okay. Um.
And at this point, before too long, Royce and Cecilia reappear. At which point, Royce will very quickly just walk up and basically tell everybody that I do apologize, everybody, but we will have to cut the night shorter than I would like, but I need to look into improving security around here and the other main properties around town. I'd hope you'd do the same. And he just sort of looks very sort of concerned and a bit out of it, like he's not really sure what to do, and just goes, that will be all. And he will just, again, walk back into this room. And, yeah. Cecilia will go back with, Oit and Whispers, and the three of them will probably leave together.
Yeah, in that case, Isaac will just gesture to Julianne and approach her. Well, in case you weren't inside to witness all of that, Isaac just shows his bloody hands. Well, it didn't go well.
Maybe you should wash up before going outside.
Yes, I don't suppose it would be polite to just scrounge the building, so if we find anyone who can show me where the bathroom is, I'll gladly wash up. Otherwise, I think we should make our way as soon as possible to the tower and certify ourselves that it is safe to spend the day.
Well-
I already rented the house for cash. Cheap, we can just go there for now.
I suppose so. In case it wasn't obvious, Julianne, the man who showed up, he was most probably my sire.
I hardly care who he is. It is evil with him.
Yeah, it seems so. We should go.
They know
And
you.
Isaac kind of just moves in between them and just starts walking out the door.
Mhm.
I'll be with you in a moment.
You got something else to do?
Just give me a moment. I will be with you.
All right. And Catherine
Well,
leaves us.
is Isaac going to take the opportunity to go down and wash up?
Yes, if I know where the bathroom is, or if I
Well,
see
not
anyone
the
who can tell
bathroom,
me where
but
the
you
bathroom
know
is.
that you remember that there was a sink opposite all the freezers down where you got the blood bags.
Sure, then I'll go there and wash up,
Okay.
and then I'll leave.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yep, I guess I can just. How did each of them get here?
Isaac would probably either get a cab or just walk.
Okay, well, I came here in a car so I can just drive them to my makeshift haven.
Well, if offered a ride, Isaac will not impose, but he'll accept.
Yeah. Julian will accept. She probably took a cab as well here.
But she isn't with us currently.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she'll be offered when she comes outside.
She is scheming.
I mean, you'll have to
Well,
walk
she
a
doesn't-
little. You have to walk a little bit to get anywhere where you can take a cab, obviously. But
Yeah.
Well, she probably will be outside with Catherine before Isaac is done washing up.
but okay, the three of you leave the mansion and head toward the city to be in the house, right? Or
the house for now.
the house. Okay. Yep, then we are going to end this week's session on that note. Ooh, until next week.
fucking
Mystery.
Incarno siring us or something.